I'm here with Cory Johnston, owner of Lane Suppressors. Today we're going to go over basically how the suppressors are made, manufactured, all the steps you take to get it going, and just let you kind of explain that.
Yep, we're going to go get you an inside look at how these are made from the design side, from all the different softwares we use to design it to the machines that we use to manufacture them. We're going to try to get you an inside look at the whole process from start to finish and kind of give you an idea what goes into making these.
All right, well with that, let's get going.
All right. The first step that goes into any product is you have to have a good design. The majority of our time is actually in this side so that we get the product right the first time, so we're not just wasting time manufacturing products that are just going to change in the future. So we spend hundreds if not thousands of hours on this end of it before we actually make any product, because this is where we determine how well the product's going to perform. After we get designed, we want to test. We test it with a fluid dynamic simulations. We can determine what the gases are going to do inside the suppressor. With this system, we can get a pretty good idea how well they're going to perform before we ever actually produce anything. From that point, we move on to our CAM system, and we're telling our machines how to make the actual product or the part. We can run simulations so you can actually see what the tools are going to be doing, how they're going to machine out these parts. So this is a critical step in getting these produced exactly as the model is made. Now it's time to take this and generate programs and go out and actually machine some product. One of the first steps that we do is we take the tubes for the suppressor, and we laser engrave the make, model, serial number. All the information is required by the ATF. First step, we're going to use a full bar of titanium. We're going to feed it into the lathe. We're going to mark where it sets. We're going to lock it down. Each core is built specifically for each tube. We're going to measure our tube, get a good measurement, and start our first op. This is the first point that a chip is made for the suppressors. The next thing we do is we check to make sure our threads are good. So we use a go, no-go gauge. The threads on this side should go in and the threads on this side should not. This will make sure that our threads are in between the two sizes and they're within spec. So our threads are within spec. Now we made a cap that's just a little smaller than our production run caps to make sure that this will go on with a little bit of resistance. Lets us know that these threads are correct. We pull the suppressor up to the puck. That gets us out the distance to machine the length of the suppressor. Now the tailstock comes in and grabs the backside, and it starts. Machine the length of that suppressor. Now we're going to remove the tailstock. Check that the tube does fit correctly. It has no wiggle. Put the tailstock back in, and then we're going to part it off. So now we break it off, and we're ready to go into op 2. Now that we've got our first op done, what we're going to do is load it in and drill the bore through for our second op. First thing we do, load it in, get our measurement out. Then we use a drill guide. This is what will keep our drill centered inside the suppressor to make sure the drill bit isn't walking one way or the other. And we start our operation. So now we've drilled over halfway through the suppressor. Now we remove the insert drill guide, remove the part, turn it around, set the depth. We have to manually grind off the little nub. Then we're ready to start the next operation. So we got the second op finished. Now we go to the third op mill. After we've done all of our lathe work, now it's going into the mill. Lock the tailstock down, and we're gonna run it. Now we're ready to go to finishing and assembly. So we've got our core off the mill. It's all done now except for the finishing work. First thing we do is we got to get all these burrs off. We do all of this by hand. We load it into our polishing machine. We just use this to knock off any burrs that have been left over and to clean it, just clean the edges off. Then we assemble our O-ring, assemble the core, run our cap down. Now we go back to the polisher. We use a sanding wheel to sand it all down. Remove the plug that we use to keep the sand out from the sandblasting. Hang it up. So now the paint's cured. We give two spare O-rings. We generate a label and a barcode with the information of the suppressor as well as the information of the dealer that it's going to, so that when we scan it, we have all the dealer's information that we can add to our ATF books.
As you can tell, there are a lot of different steps in building a suppressor. This is only one of 48 models.
48 models and hundreds of possible combinations given the colors and the different thread types.
These suppressors are a vital tool in our coyote calling, coyote hunting. We wouldn't be able to get the doubles, triples, quads, even a quintuple that we got without the use of these suppressors. I hope this answers a lot of your guys' questions. Thanks, Cory.
Thank you for coming.
You bet.